Villager was the first character introduced for Smash 4 in the opening trailer at E3 2013. We all remember that day, don't we? Mr. Iwata proudly announced a secret last game, leading us all to believe it was a new Animal Crossing. But it was all until that letter floated down gracefully and we saw the stamp that collectively blew the minds of every Smash fan on the internet. Villager? I swear Sakurai made it clear through his sweet nothings that
an Animal Crossing representative would not be suited for combat, as their games revolve around being friendly, not fighting.
Friendly? We're talking friendly? This guy, on his release, his friendly smile and unique choice of weaponry perpetuated this character into being one of the biggest memes in all of Smash. And I've been around the block. That's pretty interesting, though. You'd think Sakurai was all like, oh, I don't want to include Villager in Smash, and then he goes and changes his mind, and then, when he is included in Smash, guess what? He's creepy because the source material makes him out to be unsettling. So, did Sakurai fail? Did he actually go against his own ideas, and then prove to himself that his ideas were right? It's kind of interesting to think about. So, without further ado, let's look at Villager in Smash Bros. And Animal Crossing and get to know his moves. Really though, picking an Animal Crossing representative and showing them in the first trailer was a super smart move on Sakurai's part. Animal Crossing was one of the last Nintendo first-party franchises that still didn't have a character in the Smash Bros. Games. Which is odd because we had dead-ass characters like Pit and Wolf, but nothing from this series. But by 2012, New Leaf made Animal Crossing a hit game on the 3DS, so this may have piqued the interest of Mr. Sakurai to put Villager in. Alright, disclaimer, again, this is a game I've never played. Like, as a child, never played it. If I didn't get a game for Christmas, how could I know about it? These days, I have tried playing it, but I just found that games like this were just not for me, where you have to collect things and just play. There's no real goal in these games, and I'm very much a person that drives for goals. So, games like these, not for me. So, since it takes literally years to complete games like these and get all the items, I kind of hacked most of the things I needed into the game so I wouldn't have to play it. So I hope that's good with you, because it's good with me! From what I understand, you, a mysterious, silent, tortilla chip nosed, melon-headed motherfucking child, gets on a train to a new town to find a new life, except you have no money or friends. This is kind of sketchy. You not telling us something? You not telling us something? You end up getting lucky and getting hooked up with a house, but in return, your soul is sold to the Tanuki fuck known as Tom Nook. He basically provides you with the main task of collecting bells and doing errands in the town once you start the game. Oh yeah, speaking of this asshole, you know how your final Smash has the Nooks in it? That is a symbolization of what all the Animal Crossing games are all about. Goddamn paying back this piece of shit. Tom Nook and his bastard sons tried trapping any unknowing opponent into a home. How symbolic, getting trapped to paying a mortgage. It's like you're playing Animal Crossing for the first time. In order to pay your mortgage off, you must complete errands within your town for Nook or any of the other villagers. Now this gives you an objective to have and complete in-game, but this doesn't stop you from doing whatever you want. It's a very free and open game. And that's where Animal Crossing gets its claim to fame. The characters are fun and goofy. You as a character are mostly unrestrained in what you need to do in-game, and you can pick up or drop the game at any time you want. As long as you go save at your house, you can't forget that. But now, let's talk about Villager in Smash, because if you're Sakurai, you gotta think to yourself, how am I gonna make a non-violent character from a very, very easygoing game into a fighter? No, seriously. How are you going to go about putting a character that just runs around, talks to this person, catches fish, catches butterflies, shakes trees? How are you going to make someone that cheery and totally non-violent fit into a world with giant gorillas, lovely lady lumps, and literally evil incarnate? Man, I really love killing. Well, for each of his moves, we'll take a look at that. Generally, Villager's moveset was formed from all things Animal Crossing. That means it had a huge emphasis on collecting, using items, and having loads of customization. To start, all of his non-attack moves look as they did in the Animal Crossing games. Most notably his idle, where he thinks, is very similar to this menu choosing option in-game. Also, we can see him walk, run, and do his little skid that he does in the Animal Crossing games. Little skids, woo, yeah, skidded. In terms of customization, Villager's alternate costumes are vast and give you the option to play as a boy or girl, or crackhead. I forgot to mention, all a villager's moves and his portrayal in Smash are related to the first Animal Crossing, with a few things coming from New Leaf and City Folk. One of those things are all the costumes each of the villagers have in Smash, but also how each of the boys and girls look. And honestly, just take all these costumes in. You gotta think about it. Sakurai had to go out of the way to pick each of these costumes and faces for these villagers. It's a really big testament to the appeal of customization in the Animal Crossing games, and honestly, I don't think Villager could have been done any better. So, the surface level details align perfectly with Animal Crossing's tone and theme, but what else do we got? Running around is something you do quite a lot of in Animal Crossing, especially if you get a bad town layout like I did, but we are not going to talk about that! But because many of the activities in town revolve around going to villagers at certain times with certain things, you'll be getting used to holding down that B button. But the B button serves another very important purpose in Animal Crossing that is key to villagers' moveset in Smash Bros., and it's none other than his pocket ability. Like the B button move in Smash, in Animal Crossing you press this button, as long as your inventory has room, you pick up that item. And in Smash, well, if you do it, all it looks like is he's reaching out. What is he reaching for? A better move? But do it when a projectile's coming right at you and... Yup, you pack it up and save it for later, like every goddamn breakfast meal I've ever gotten. Pocket is mapped to the same button on the GameCube controller as it is in Animal Crossing. Somehow, I think Sakurai purposely did this so that the ability would be associated with the same button in both games. It also serves the same purpose of picking up things and putting them in your inventory. Smash's is obviously a little more simple, where all you can do is store one projectile at a time and release it on the same stock. Alright, so let's keep going. What other Animal Crossing items does Villager have? Well, most interestingly, all of Villager's downward moves all have to do with interacting with the ground. The shovel will be our first stop. The shovel is used for many things in Animal Crossing. For one, you can use it to plant seeds for different types of trees. You can use it to remove stumps from trees you cut down. You can also dig up treasures and hit rocks to get money. This, of course, is his down smash attack. I don't think it can be anything else. In the move, he digs on both sides of him, and if it connects with an enemy, he digs them into the ground. Literally digging a grave for them. Now in Animal Crossing, this move is also done twice. Once to dig the hole and another to cover it up. His down tilt fittingly is pulling a weed, which you need to do in the game in order to plant things on certain blocks. Since we're talking about planting stuff, let's move on to the sapling. In Smash, you mostly just... What the fuck? In Smash, you just drop it and use it as a wonky projectile. No actual planting happens, unless you count your face with the ground. Next, let's get down to his down special, where he iconically plants a seed, waters it, and watches a tree grow. And I swear this thing is the giving tree because it's got your back for its whole life! No, really, this thing is crazy. When it sprouts up, it does damage. When you cut it down, it really does a lot of damage. It also can be a wall to prevent enemies from hitting you with projectiles, and on occasion, you can cut it down and get a nice, clean-cut piece of wood. Then, of course, once the tree is grown, your down B turns into the axe. I was gonna do a shining joke here, but it's kind of overplayed, so... Now you can swing this thing anywhere as long as the tree is grown on the stage. And if you do choose to cut down the tree, it only takes 2 swings and wow! That's a lot of damage. Shit. Now so many parts about this move come from the Animal Crossing series. Of course, you plant a seed, you water it, you watch the tree grow, and you can cut it down. But all of these steps happen in a much longer time span than the move shows. Another interesting thing is other villagers can also cut down your trees in Smash as they could in Animal Crossing. It'd have been really cool if some of the trees you sprouted also produced fruit so you could get some health back in battle. Alright, last thing relating to nature is this stick. It's his up tilt. It's a stick, it's a twig. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck that's from. But really, it's cool how all his downward abilities align with having to plant stuff. It's kind of cool because all of these things in Animal Crossing complement each other like how they do in Smash. And next...
Now look at this net that I just found!
You can catch bugs with this in-game, which, just like everything, pays a pretty penny. In Smash, Villager catches his opponents like the meddling insects they are. He even does the same overhead swing like he does in Animal Crossing. It's really funny when you start catching big characters in these nets just by how utterly helpless they look in a common bug catching net.
Did someone say big? Huh? Yoink! Well, I think I'm in the Twilight Realm. Hello? Hello? Anyone out there? Well, we might be in here a while. Oh, I could practice my harmonica. Hold on, let me find it here. Oh. Yeah.
As mentioned, this net helps you catch bugs, which we see in his victory animation. But we also see him collect a fossil, which is a thing you can dig up and collect. Believe it or not, we're actually pretty much through most of his moves. Like, the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. You take a look at them and you know their function. There's the umbrella, which does as an umbrella should. It opens and closes, and it's actually from the paw umbrella from City Folk. Fireworks appear in Animal Crossing on certain holidays during the year. And a specific firework item you can get in New Leaf has the exact same look as the one in Smash. As fireworks shoot out multiple bursts, this move too has a multi-hitting property. And how fitting for it to be a smash attack. If it is the killing move you use on an opponent, well, fireworks very much so symbolize a victory. Then he has the slingshot as his forward and back air. You can use this in-game to shoot treasures out of the trees or the sky. Now this is a very unique forward and back air as it shoots really far, so it helps with spacing and it has damage to boot. You'll see pros like Renai use this as their bread and butter because it's just so good. Also, talking about aerials, we got turnips. Now they may seem contrived as a stolen move from Princess Peach, but they actually have a very unique function that is taken from Animal Crossing. Essentially, turnips go for different prices at different times, and when you go to resell them to Tom Nook, well, you can get them for more than you got them sold for, and it's an interesting way to make money. This variance on the market relates how the move gives you 1 to 3 turnips at random. Now, Villager, he has a very strong design in Smash, but he is not immune to some of Sakurai's weird choices. In fact, some of the moves he does have just don't make sense and they don't align at all with stuff in Animal Crossing. I know if you played the game, you'll see the Lloyd Rocket and kind of scratch your head as to why they made him into a recovery type move. Lloyd as a character debuted in City Folk and owned the auction house, and in New Leaf he was a construction foreman. But for why he becomes a rocket, I'm not sure. Gyroids themselves are used for saving and holding on to items, and they certainly never fly around and definitely don't cause. I suppose the best way to relate it is that you can use it to save you as you recover. The last of his moves deal with things that are not in game, at least directly, like boxing gloves, bowling balls, balloons. Now, some of these moves suggest that they are taken from the secret retro games you can find in the Animal Crossing titles. And the ones that are referenced in Smash are Balloon Fight and Punch Out. Balloon Fight works exactly as it does in game, where you don't move upwards unless you tap that B button. He even puts on the hat and has the 2 balloons like in game. And when he pops, he even does the same animation. And I don't think I have to say this, but his jab combo is just a basic 1-2 punch that Mac had in the Punch Out games. Imagine that. Nobody realizes that this game is a full minigame collection, and today we gotta pay $20 for the NES remix. But for his last move, I couldn't find a remnant of it anywhere, not even a little. I checked the game, I checked the wikis, I even checked the extended item lists of all the items in all the games, and I could not come up with this frickin' bowling ball. This is his forward smash, you know, your go-to move for killing, and for some reason, it's completely random. Now, after looking into it, I realized that this move relates more to Animal Crossing than I first thought. Animal Crossing is all about collecting. You get a lot of stuff for your shack, you buy stuff from Tom Nook, you go to this villager, you go there, you go everywhere. This bowling ball itself is a random item that the villager picked up. From where? I don't know. It's just as random as any item this guy gets. And I suppose a bowling ball has always been an indicator of slapstick violence. I mean, seriously, bowling ball hits your head and then you grow a giant goose egg. It's always in cartoons. Slap it all together and I think it's pretty fitting. A strong attack for a non-violent character. So, did Sakurai fail? Because in my opinion, I don't think so. He followed all his design criterias for Smash without having Villager clash with the design of Animal Crossing. I mean, he's goofy, cartoony, and lighthearted. So I think he did a good job. Some people may say the Villager isn't unsettling, he isn't creepy, but in my opinion, when I saw that first trailer, he was, and I think the only reason for that is when you put a character that's always happy, has no problems, and is always smiling, then yeah, it's gonna cause some unsettling things in your mind. It's dissonance between the world we know. If you put anything that happy into our real world, it wouldn't come off as cute, it would come off as very unsettling. It's a common trope that you see in TV shows and games, and especially in things like Five Nights at Freddy's and Chucky. Vsauce has done a video on this and how it's hard to walk the line between cute, realistic, and very unsettling.
Part of the reason even a neutral or happy mask can be creepy may have to do with ambiguity. A mask hides the true emotions and intentions of the person underneath. I don't know if the person wearing that mask is a threat or not.
So maybe check that out if you're interested. Maybe some of you have already seen it, but that's my theory on why Villager comes off the way he does in Smash. It's just generally how we see cuteness clash with realistic fighting. He's not wrong. I mean, have you seen Animal Crossing? He comes to a town he doesn't know without money or possessions or without even a name. You make one up on the train. What was this guy's past? And in-game, Villager runs around at all times of the day with only one goal.
Make money.
Seriously, I get it. The player character is not supposed to be emotive. He's supposed to be generic so you as the player can feel as the role of the player. But this was done in a very creepy way, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks this. Even the villagers notice your odd behavior. If you leave the village for weeks, they think you're a freak. Heck, every interaction with the villager is always like, "Oh, you're bothering me at 3 a.m. again." I only know my moves. That's all I'm useful for in this world. But sometimes we need to uncover a very dark secret, a dark theory, if you will. I need to get in on this. What if we could find the true villager, the truest, evilest villager? Yeah, I know exactly how to do it too. You go to 8-player Smash. You need a lot of amiibos for this. Then you do this glitch. First, you plug in your controller as the first player, then unplug it and tap an amiibo. Now replug your controller into the same port and go up to the time. Go to that screen, return to the player select screen, and you'll notice you're in control of 2 cursors. This means you're in control of 2 characters. But we want to go even further. That's right. We want to be in control of every villager there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 villagers! My plan's almost complete. Now we need to roll to one side of the stage and fuse them together. And... No. Wow, okay, well, that happened, alright, yeah. I don't know why it said it would fuck my dad, though, but, I mean, am I the only one in here? Did Cat, I hope Cat made it out. I hope maybe we can get me out of here by the next episode. Wait, is that a goddamn harmonica?
So, what are you in for?
If you want to help me get out of the Shadow Realm, please like this video, but also it actually helps me get into recommended and gets more people to watch. So if you want to help me out in that regard, please do. Anyways, this has been Alax. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.